We are going to be taking a vanilla barotrauma submarine and modify its core configuration to make it go faster without touching the submarine editor or buying the speed upgrades at stations. All you need are some components, wire, and a screwdriver, and with that you'll be able to increase your submarine speed, get better overall performance for electrical systems, and get out of emergency situations quicker. One of the most important changes you can make to your submarine is to have a more efficient reactor controller. There are lots of guides out there with different controllers that focus on performance and efficiency. However, to keep things simple, we are going to be using a 2-component controller from another great YouTuber called The Gaming Nerd. This will allow you to use the fabricator, deconstructor, medical fabricator, and keep the ship moving at full speed all at the same time without issues from power consumption. Power consumption being an issue in relation to speed, as without power you cannot operate the navigation console. This is one of the quickest modifications you can make to speed up your submarine. You will need 5 wires, 1 regex component, 1 greater than component, and that screwdriver. These components can sometimes be found at stations, but are easily crafted with 1 FPGA circuit and 1 tin. Once you have the components, set them up next to the reactor. To do this, select them from your inventory and press right-click on the wall piece you want to install them on. To access their configuration and wiring, equip the screwdriver and press E on the component. Then select a wire from your inventory to begin wiring them. You will need to wire them up to different inputs and outputs of the reactor. Follow this configuration on screen to set up everything. This includes modifying the values from the regex and greater than controller. Links in the video description below for the regex expression. This configuration may need modification as each submarine has a different reactor output. You can reduce the regex component output to get the most optimal control. After you're all set up, you can then load 4 rods into the reactor and not have to worry about power issues for some time. This will speed up your submarine overall and allow you to always be on the move without worrying about power issues. The next upgrade will actually increase your submarine's descent speed. This will vary depending on which submarine you're on, but the principles I'm going to talk about can be carried across to all of them. On the wiki, you will find all the information about the submarine statistics, as well as the ascent and descent rates. The submarine's navigation console has an output labeled velocity Y out. This controls the ascent and descent or up and down of the submarine. This output is connected to all the ballast tanks that flood or drain to achieve that movement. This means you can hook up any pump on the submarine to this system to add an additional ballast tank. The quickest way to do this is to connect the output of the console directly to the pump you want to control. This is done through the set target level. However, you can only connect 5 wires to 1 connection point, so a better alternative is to use a relay component and connect that to the new ballast pumps. Set the component down to the navigation console and connect a wire from the navigation Y output to the relay component's input. Then connect the output of this to all the pumps that you wish to turn into ballast tanks. For the Orca, you can comfortably get away with 3 additional ballast tanks. You'll also need to disconnect any non-power wires from the pump and then turn them on in order for this to work. And for the ballast tanks we've chosen for the Orca, this means you can also disconnect the water sensors that sit next to the pump with a wrench. Doing so will also get you 1 wire each. Adding these extra ballast tanks will give you a new maximum descent speed of 20 kilometers per hour. This is 5 kilometers faster than the standard configuration, or approximately 33% faster going down. The next modification is to add a button to open the lower front ballast tank and crew quarters. This button should be linked to the front door and the lower hatch, so that when pressed, both doors open at the same time. This is just to speed up the water drainage, as the front crew quarters is one of the weak points of this submarine. Other submarines suffer similar issues as well, and other buttons and configurations can be added to drain out water faster. Another modification that can be made is to add a button next to the navigation console that closes the top airlock's outer hatch. This is because sometimes when people exit the submarine, they will forget to close the hatch. With the hatch open, the additional water may affect the ascent rate. So a simple button to allow the captain to close this solves this issue. As a bonus modification for this guide, you can make an emergency flotation detonation system. This consists of a button connected to several detonators in different locations around the ship. Detonators can only be bought from stations and not fabricated. If you fill these with fixed foam grenades that can be made from a mechanic with the talent hull sealer, these will automatically seal hull breaches on deployment. For the Orca, some good locations for detonators include engineering, the engine room, crew quarters, and the upper foreside. When half the submarine or more is flooded, hit this button and instantly repair those locations. This means that your sub can float and begin to move again very quickly. Just note that fixed foam grenades require 1 phosphorus and 1 sodium to craft, and you will need to refill all of them when you activate the system. Now you should have everything you need to make your submarine run faster during gameplay. Until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my supporters, especially my patrons and YouTube members. Gamerman R gets a huge shout out for joining the Masterwork tier program. Thank you.
Na, na, na.